I'm Jason. Today we're going to take a look at Colt Express. This is an action programming game about robbing a moving train where while you're hiding from the marshal patrolling the train, you're going to compete with other bandit players to steal as many loot tokens as you can from the passengers and also shoot as many bullets as possible because there is a prize for being the best gunslinger. So I'm going to explain how to set the game up, I'm going to play a few rounds, and then I'm going to give you a brief summary of the expansions that exist because they are interesting if you can manage to find them. I'm not sure how available they are. Alright, to set up Colt Express, you're going to use the locomotive of this really, I think, pretty cool cardboard train, and one car per player. So I'm going to set up a 3-player game, which is arguably the worst way to play it, because it's a very confined train, but it's the smallest it can be, because in a 2-player game, the rules are weird and you use 2 players each, or 2 characters each, and the train is longer. I don't want to manage, not only do I not want to manage 4 characters, but the game doesn't play the same way as it does as 3 separate players. So this is the smallest way I can play it to demonstrate how the game works without getting into weird variants. So in a 3-player game, we're going to return these 3 cars to the box, and we'll play with these 3 cars and the locomotive. The cars are all different. They have different art, because they're different train cars. This is the dining car, this is sort of the poor seats, and this is the bar. And they each specify how much loot is found in them. So this one indicates there's 3 coin purses, there's 1 coin purse here, the coin purse, and a gem. The coin purses range in value, I think, from $250 to $450, and the gems are all, I think, $500. And then the locomotive, there's a strong box worth $1,000, and that is where the marshal starts, up here. Next, each player will pick one of the 6 characters. They will take the relevant player board, cards, and meeples. Hey, just want to cut in here for a quick second. It's Jason from the future doing the editing. Realize that I didn't tell you these meeples I'm using aren't the ones that come with the game. The ones that come with the actual game are these little meeples with guns and cowboy hats, and they're super cute. And I love meeples that have a singular purpose, that were made for a specific game. You can see here I've got each of the original meeples with their corresponding screen printed one. They're perfectly fine meeples. I replaced them ages ago and it didn't even occur to me not to use them, so I didn't want to give you the wrong impression. Anyway, back to the video. The player boards are mostly a reference. They show you what your character's power is and they show you where to put cards so you can keep track of them. There's a basic side and an advanced side. I'm only going to tell you the basic variant because it's just the simpler way to play it. It's the more introductory way to play it. You'll have 6 bullet cards in your color, so Ghost here has white bordered cards, and you'll have a deck of action cards also in your color and featuring your character. The action cards are the same for everyone. They have the same distribution of cards. They have cards that let you climb up and down from the inside of the train to the outside. They have cards that will move the marshal, shoot, punch, loot tokens, obviously move throughout the train. You'll shuffle your cards and draw 6 of them. The blue player will actually draw 7. He has a hand limit of 7. That's his special power. And you'll take a coin purse worth $250 and put it on your player card. There's one more part of setup, and that is to determine how the flow of the game is going to work. So there's a deck of cards with this back here, at least for a 2 to 4 player game. There's a different deck for 5 and 6. And we're going to choose 4 of these and 1 stop card, which is where the train will end up. And these will determine how we'll play our cards in each turn. I'm only going to do 2 cards and a stop just to play a shortened game for you. And we'll see how those work as soon as we get into how the game actually plays. So you choose 4 of those randomly. You can choose them and shuffle them up however you like to do it. And put the rest back in the box. And that is the game set up. In an action programming game, everyone is going to choose a number of cards, typically 3, play them face down for themselves in the order they'd want them resolved. And then everyone would reveal their first card and then resolve it. And then everyone reveals their second card and they resolve it. And third card, and so on. So you have an idea of how you want your turn to go. And the cards would be like move or shoot, or in this case, shoot, punch, climb, etc. In most action programming games, your actions will probably be affected by other players. Because if I plan to move and you plan to shoot, you can maybe plan to shoot where I've moved to. In this game, though, things get resolved and set up a little bit differently. And it's something, it's the main reason that I like this game, and it's the main reason why a couple of my friends don't like this game, because you have to keep track of things for a much longer period than a normal game. We're not taking 3 cards, putting them down, and playing them. We're going to build a deck of action cards that resolve only after we've all finished putting our cards in. And once you put a card in, you can't look at the deck to see what cards you played, what cards anyone else has played. So you have to keep track of not only what you've done, but if you want to have any chance of attacking someone or getting anything done, you kind of try and keep track of what everyone else is doing. And because that's impossible, this game is chaos, and that's why I love it. So let's jump into an actual turn, and we'll see how this works out. So I've got Ghost as the white player, Tuco is the red player, and Cheyenne is the green player. I'm going to start with Ghost. Ghost is player 1. The odd numbered players start in the rearmost car, and the even numbered players start in the next car. Alright, so the first round is going to look like this. So this is what the cards will look like. So you'll see we're going to start out at this end here, and we're all going to play one card face up. Then we're going to go through a tunnel, so it's going to be dark, no one knows what anyone's doing, so we're going to play cards face down. Then we're going to play 2 cards back to back in the order we want them played in, 1 more card face up, and then this special effect will happen, which is that the marshal drops a second strong box at his location. So you would normally give this deck of cards to the first player to keep track of where the round started, where it will end. So in this case, we said that Ghost is the first player. So Ghost is going to play, we're all going to now play 1 card face up into a common draw pile, or a common deck. Now Ghost's power is that he gets to play his first card, if he wants to, face down. So he gets 1 extra chance to be sneaky and not let anyone else know what he's planning. So that means that the first 2 cards Ghost plays are potentially going to be unknown by any other player and be impossible to play in a round. So I'm going to play this card. I'm just going to make a deck right here in the middle, face down. And then Tuco will play a card. And he will play a shoot card. Again, nothing's happening right now. He's not shooting anyone. That's going to happen later. And I mean, we can see who he's going to shoot. We don't know what Ghost is going to do, but Cheyenne's over here, so we could probably at least shoot Cheyenne. Then Cheyenne is going to play a punch card, and we'll see why. And that's all of our face-up cards. Now, second card, we're in a tunnel, we play cards face down. So Ghost is playing a second card face down, and he's going to play this one. Tuco plays a card face down, he's going to play this one. And Cheyenne will play, let's say, this one. Alright, that's the second card played. Now, if you got to a point where you didn't have cards you wanted to play, it's because you're going to run out of cards, you can pass, not submit a card to the deck, and draw 3 more cards from your deck. In this turn here where we're playing 2 cards, we're not only playing 2 cards, we're basically taking 2 turns, and then 2 turns, and then 2 turns. So you could draw 6 cards from your deck, which doesn't exist. There's only 4 cards left. We only have 10 cards, apparently. So we can draw 3 cards and basically skip a turn to have more options next turn. So we're going to play 2 cards here for Ghost. He's going to play move the marshal, which means the marshal will move whichever direction Ghost wants him to move. And he's going to play a shoot card. Tuco is going to climb up to the roof, assuming he's not already on the roof, and he's going to move. And Cheyenne's 2 cards, she will also move the marshal, and maybe loot. Who knows if there's loot there even to be found. It's already chaos. I've already lost track of what everyone in this deck is doing, and that's what the point of the game is. So 1 more card. Ghost, until right now, he only has 2 climbs, so he's climbing. Tuco is going to shoot, and Cheyenne is going to climb. She had a climb or a move, but the marshal I know has moved twice, which means at most you could have moved here, so Cheyenne doesn't want to move out of there unless she already has, and I've forgotten. So that's all, what's that, 5 times 3, that's all 15 cards submitted to this deck. So this is all the actions that are going to resolve. So we take this deck, we flip it over, and now we will resolve it in the order it was played. As we give cards back to their owners, they will decide now what actions they will take. So they could take the actions as they planned them, but because everyone else played cards, they played cards face down, people have moved around, the situation has changed in a way that you can't really predict. You've forgotten what cards you played. You might end up taking actions in a much different way than you had expected to. So let's resolve these first cards. So Ghost started with a punch card. So when you punch someone, not only do they drop a random loot token they have back into the car, but you also knock them into the next car, whichever direction you want to knock them in. Now, if Cheyenne punches someone, they don't drop the loot, she instantly takes it. She steals from them immediately. So she's very good at like retaining money, except in this case where she got punched and dropped the only token she had. So she's already moved, and she didn't know that she was going to be moved. So are any of her cards going to be relevant? Possibly not. Tugo started with a shoot card. Now when you shoot inside the train, you can only shoot someone in an adjacent car. You can't shoot someone in your own car. If there's 2 players in an adjacent car, you can choose which one you want to shoot. One of the other characters is Belle. If she is a possible target for shooting or punching, but there is any other possible target in the same space that she is, she can't be targeted. So someone else takes the hit for her. So that's her power. So Tuco shoots. His only target is Ghost. You can't shoot the Marshal. He shoots Ghost. So he takes one of his bullet cards and it gets added to Ghost's deck. Bullet cards don't do anything for you. You don't gain anything for having them. You don't lose anything for having them. All they do is clog up your deck. So at some point, Ghost is going to draw Tuco's bullet card and have one less useful card to play. Cheyenne's first card is a punch, so she punches Tuco. He will drop this money into her hand. Ghost played a loot card, so he's going to loot. As I said, the diamonds are all worth 500, so he's going to take a diamond. Or a gem. I guess they're not diamonds, they're red. Tuco loots, and he loots the only thing available is that one little purse. Cheyenne will shoot again. She's just like Tuco, she can only shoot Ghost, so she gives Ghost one of her bullets. Ghost moves the Marshal. So the Marshal advances over to here. He doesn't move with the strongbox. Strongbox stays in the front. And Ghost also shoots. Now he can shoot either of these players. But in case that doesn't come up, if you're on the roof and you shoot, you can shoot any distance and you hit the next target closest to you. And again, if there's like 2 in the same car, you can choose which one to shoot. But say Tuco was here and Cheyenne was here and Ghost is back here, Ghost could shoot Tuco but not Cheyenne because Tuco's in the way. Ghost shoots, and he shoots, let's say Tuco. Tuco's going to climb up to the roof, like so. And he's also going to move over here. When you're inside, you move 1 car forwards or backwards. On the roof, you can move 1 to 3 spaces, and you have to move. If you've planned to move, you must move no matter what. Every card you play must be activated. The only time you get a pass is if you were to play a shoot and there's no one to shoot, there's no targets, or a punch, or a loot, and there's no, the situation doesn't allow for you to actually carry out the action. Cheyenne moves the Marshal. Cheyenne moves the Marshal into her own car, so she's going to move it back here, which protects the strongbox from Tuco. And then she loots, but there's nothing to loot there. She's in an empty car. To Ghost, he plays a climb card, goes up to the roof. Tuco shoots. Because he's on the roof, his only target is Ghost, so he gives Ghost one of his bullet cards. And then Cheyenne also climbs up to the roof. And that's the first round. Oh, and then finally, at the end of the round, the special effect takes place, and the Marshal drops another strongbox at his location, so there's now 2 strong boxes in the locomotive. And that's the end of the first round. So everyone takes every card they played, every card still left in their hand, and anything left in the deck, and they will shuffle it, and they'll draw 6 cards. So the advanced variant, you will, instead of doing this and shuffling all your cards, you're going to have a discard pile, and you're going to discard any cards you don't want and any bullets. So you can actually keep in your hand any cards you do want, and it lets you have a little more control over what cards you'll have available for the next round. And the first player marker moves to the, there isn't really a marker, that's why I use the deck, moves to the next player, that's Tuco. So we reveal the next train card. We play a card face up, another card face up, a card face down, and then this one we play in reverse order. The turn order will go backwards for that one. So for Tuco's first action, he needs the marshal to not be where the strong boxes are, so he's going to move the marshal. Cheyenne is in a car where there's nothing she can interact with. So she's going to move. Ghost. Now Ghost can play a card face down, so he's going to play his first card face down, and it's going to be this card. And back to Tuco, he's playing a card. It's going to be, I mean, he doesn't really want to climb down because the marshal is right there and someone can move him back in. So maybe he'll play a shoot while he's up on the roof still. And then Cheyenne, she's going to climb. I think that'll maybe be okay for her. I mean, there's two strong boxes. People want the marshal to be out of there long enough they can get two boxes, but not get caught themselves. So Ghost could probably move the marshal back in there and not care because he's not going to get that strong box anyway. But there is loot right under him. But he doesn't have a climb card, so he's going to move the marshal. Now, this is the third turn, so this card is played face down, so Tuco's going to play this card here. And Cheyenne is going to play this card, but I don't think that's going to work out for her. And then Ghost will play this one. And the final turn is played in reverse order, starting with the first player. So it'll be me, then or Tuco, then Ghost, then Cheyenne. So Tuco's going to play, I don't know, move card. I've definitely lost track of who's actually capable of doing what right now. Ghost is going to punch, maybe. And Cheyenne's going to, I don't know, shoot. Now, again, in case it doesn't come up, Tuco's power, which is the only one that I haven't talked about, is that he can shoot up and down. So whereas everyone else can only shoot by the parameters I've described, Tuco's able to shoot through the roof. If he's on the roof, shoots down. He's inside, shoots up. And then, the sixth character is Django, and when he shoots, it has the same effect as a punch. It moves you one car forward in the direction that you're shooting. So if you're Django's here, you shoot someone here, they move here, obviously. Okay, so let's resolve this turn and see how it actually worked out, because I'm guessing not well. So Tuco goes first. He moves the marshal back to this car, which is still full of money, I want to point out. This could be, that could be $1,200 worth of coin purses right there, and no one cares. Cheyenne moves. She's going to move over to here. Ghost moves. He's going to move 1, 2, 3 to here as well. Tuco shoots. There's no one to shoot because everyone's on the same car, so that's meaningless. Cheyenne's going to climb down because she's bold like that. So she's down here now. Ghost moves the marshal back in. Now, does he, or did he play any card that would let him climb down and get a strong box? No, I don't think he did. So the marshal moves in here. When the marshal moves into your space, or if you were to move into the marshal's space, two things happen. First, I guess first he shoots you, and second, you retreat to the roof. So Cheyenne's going to get a neutral bullet card in her deck, which I didn't take out, so I'll add after we finish resolving this. Tuco punches someone. Cheyenne has one coin purse, and Ghost has a gem and coin purse. So if he has to drop one randomly, he's going to pick Ghost. And let's see if we can find a way to randomly drop one of these. He dropped the gem. That's amazing. But again, Tuco doesn't get it. It drops, because he's not Cheyenne, it drops onto the roof here. And what did Cheyenne play next? She played a loot card, because she thought maybe she'd climb down and this loot card would get her a strongbox. Well, now it's getting her this gem that Tuco so kindly liberated from Ghost. Ghost plays another shoot card. There's still no one to shoot. Tuco plays a move card. He's going to come over here maybe, and maybe he'll get down into some of that treasure. This is when we're going backwards. Ghost punches Cheyenne. So now Cheyenne's going to drop something. Oh, you know what? Ghost isn't there anymore. When Tuco punched Ghost and liberated that gem from him, he actually knocked Ghost one space away. Didn't he? Yeah. And then Cheyenne picked it up. Ghost punches, Ghost actually shot. He actually could have shot someone, so he's going to shoot Tuco for knocking that gem out of his hand. Then in the final turn, sorry, that's a little confusing. Tuco's going to move to where no one's contesting these loots back here. Ghost punches no one, and the final card is Cheyenne shoots. And because they're on the top of the roof and Ghost is blocking Tuco, she can only shoot Ghost, which gives Ghost a bullet card. So one neutral bullet for Cheyenne for encountering the Marshal, and then at the end of the round we have this symbol here, which means that the Marshal is going to shoot whoever's on his roof and then move one car backwards. So he shoots Cheyenne with another neutral bullet. He's going to move back here. And that is the end of the second round. Now, as I said, there would normally be 4 rounds like that and then the end. But because I think you have a pretty good idea of how the game works by now, we've encountered all the ways we can play cards 2 at a time, up, face down, in reverse order. We're just going to skip right to the end, just see where we end up. So as it stands right now, Cheyenne has a gem and a purse, Tuco has a purse, and Ghost has a purse, and that's it. Someone has shot the most bullets. Oops. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll find out who that is. Okay, so now for the final round, we are looking at this. So card face up, card face down. Sorry, 2 cards face up. 1 face down, 1 face up. And then this one back here, this symbol means every bandit can take a free loot action and pick up any treasure, any loot token that might be in their car or where they're located. So the bandits are going to want to end up either back here where there's currently 2, here, or even in the front here where the strong boxes are. Okay, so Cheyenne goes first. She plays a card. She really wants that strong box, so she's going to move the Marshal further away from the locomotive. Ghost has a couple bullet cards, so he's only working with 4 actual cards that'll do anything for him. But because Cheyenne is going to move that Marshal away, he's going to risk... No, he's not. Ghost is going to actually pass and draw 3 cards. Because he has the ability to climb down, he doesn't have the ability to loot anything, so it would be a waste of a turn to climb down, then pass, and hope to get a loot card. So now he's better off. So he's not submitting a card to the deck here. Tuco's first card is going to be to climb down. Cheyenne's second card is going to be to loot one of the strong boxes. Ghost is now going to climb down. Tuco's next card, he's inside, isn't he? He doesn't have a loot card on him. He's going to actually pass and hope to draw a loot card. He did not get a loot card. Okay, third card is now we're in tunnel. Cheyenne's going to play card face down. She's going to play... There's only 1 card left after this. She's going to play this card. So the reason I said that is I was thinking I don't have the ability to go over here and then climb down, or sorry, if I'm inside, the ability to move to here and loot, because I don't have a loot card. And if I pass this turn, then I'm not moving over here to where loot cards are, although if I stay here, there's another strong box. I'm going to risk it. I'm not going to play this card, I'm going to pass and hopefully draw. I did. Ghost plays a card face down. It's going to be this one. Tugo plays a card face down. That one there. And then final card of the game is face up, and it's going to be Cheyenne playing a bullet or a shoot. Tuco's going to play, or sorry, Ghost is going to play also a shoot. And Tuco is going to move the marshal, why not? I'm pretty sure he played 2 loots, and there's only 2 loot in there, so there's nothing left for him to take. He doesn't have a loot card anyway. There's not going to be anyone to shoot. So, yeah, that's fine. I'm not sure, again, what actually happened that turn. First card. Cheyenne moves the marshal further away from the strong boxes. Good. Tugo climbs down into the train. What am I doing? Oh yeah, Ghost pass. That's why he doesn't have a card there. Cheyenne loots one of the... Cheyenne does not loot. Cheyenne did not climb down into the train, so she has wasted her whole turn. That's very unfortunate, but it does happen. So she loots nothing. Ghost climbs down. I guess everyone else passed, so he's also going to loot this one. I'll tell you right now, he has $500 on him. Tuco's got $250. Cheyenne's got $750. Tuco loots another $250. Again, you keep this private. Keep them face down, but you can look at them, so just so that you know. Cheyenne plays a shoot card and shoots no one because she's not in here shooting at Ghost. I really screwed that up. Ghost shoots no one because he can't shoot the marshal. And Tuco vindictively moves the marshal into Ghost's space. Ghost takes a neutral bullet and flees to the roof, which is meaningless. So that is the end of that round, and now everyone who's in a space with loot can take one, and that means Tuco gets another $500 purse. Didn't know they went that high. That might be from the expansion. So that's the end. Now, if you're playing a longer game, you have more chances to actually get the loot. 3 rounds is extremely short, especially when you waste one like Cheyenne just did. That's on me. But let's take a look at who won this very, very abbreviated game. So we know that Ghost has $500 worth of loot. Tuco now has 1,000, and Cheyenne has 7,500. But one of them shot the most bullets and is worth an extra 1,000. So Cheyenne has 4 bullets remaining. Tuco has 4 bullets remaining. Ghost also has 4 bullets remaining. I don't know if they share that. Yeah. Every tied player gets $1,000 for being the best, equally best gunslinger. So 1,750, 2,000, 1,500, and Tuco wins. Now, if Cheyenne had managed to climb down and get one of those looted, which she genuinely could have done, she definitely had the cards to make that happen. She could have climbed down, then looted. Well, she could have moved Marshall, climbed down, looted. She could have had $1,000 there. She would have finished with another 1,000. That would have been huge. But that is so typical of the way this game goes. You play cards, you're not allowed to look at them once you play them, so you forget what they are, and you go, oh, am I here? Am I here? What are my options? You play a card, you hope for the best, and then something like that happens where nothing goes right for an entire turn. But in a 5-round game, one bad round isn't the end of the world. It was just unfortunate that was how that worked out for her. But I'm not going to go back and edit it because that gives you a much better idea of how this game goes than if it went perfectly. Because the game will not go perfectly, trust me. But yeah, so that's how the game works. We're going to take a quick little look at how the expansions add things to the game, so that if you do come across them, you know what to expect. So the first expansion, there's 2 large ones like this and a couple small ones. The first large one is horses in Stagecoach. It adds actual horse meeples that are super adorable, and a stagecoach that rides alongside the train. And it starts here and it moves back as you go. And the point of the stagecoach is that it has a strong box in it worth another $1,000, and also has passengers that you can take hostage, which are also worth money in most cases. Some of them are conditional, but they also impose largely a penalty on you. Like one of them is a pacifist, you can't shoot, or you can't punch, I think. And one of them, you get more money if you get shot more. One of them prevents you from even riding horses. And it's just a neat other thing that you can hop from roof to roof and go down the side and get stuff and hop on your horse and ride off. The horses also add a different way to get on the train. You sort of bid to get on. We don't really do it that way because I don't really understand the strategy to it. But we also don't use the horses too often. We always use the stagecoach. Now that I have the stagecoach, it always gets used. The hostages are great. I love them. There's also a meeple for a guy that hangs out on the stagecoach called a shotgun. He's passive until you actually take his strong box. He didn't care if you take a hostage. You take a strong box and he becomes aggressive, and I believe he hops onto the roof of the train and just starts like blasting people. And then finally, the second big expansion is called Marshal and Prisoners, and it does a neat thing where one of the players can actually play as the marshal. So players can't move the marshal anymore, and the marshal player has objectives he must complete, 4 of the 5 that he gets. And he gets 5 face down, can't look at them, and each round he gets access to find out what a new one is. And if it doesn't do it, it just carries over until he does it. At the end of the game, if he's completed 4 of the 5, then he wins. If he doesn't, then the bandits win. It also adds the ability for the marshal to capture bandits. So an extra prison car gets added to the end of the train, which has 3 prisoners in it, which you can rescue to get a special bonus ability. Or the marshal can actually capture players and send them to the prison car where they have to escape. And escaping there's a card you can play to escape, and you always have the ability to search your deck or discard pile for that card, so you can always get it to get out of jail. Or you can actually rescue someone else, but they have to give you one of their loot tokens. And I really like that. I gotta find that one. I haven't seen it on a shelf recently. But I like the idea of being able to play the marshal and having this whole separate game that he's playing while everyone else is playing the game that I know so well. And the prisoners are actually the trusty sidekick of one of the 6, maybe 7 characters. So if you get them, say you get Tuco's trusty sidekick. If you're not Tuco, you get Ghost. If you get Ghost's trusty sidekick, you get Ghost's power of playing your first card face down, in addition to whatever your normal character power is. If you are Ghost and you get his trusty sidekick, when you take loot tokens, you get to take 2 loot tokens, because he grabs one for you, or your sidekick grabs one for you. Like, that's super neat. Like, no matter what, you're getting something extra. Although in this game, robbing 2 things, I mean, it would have worked for Cheyenne taking 2 strong boxes if she'd gotten in the locomotive. But yeah, so that's what they had. So if you happen to come across expansions and you're wondering, like, are they worth adding once you most certainly buy Colt Express, because now you love it because you see how great it is. If you come across expansions, now you know what they add. This one for sure worth it, love it. The other one for an extra character whose power is to move diagonally. If she goes from here, she can move to this roof, or she can move to that roof, or she can go down diagonally. Is that character the most interesting? Maybe not. Does her power make sense? I don't know. Is it strategic? If you came here to learn about Colt Express, I feel like you have learned more about Colt Express than you intended to, and I hope you've got a very clear idea of how this game works, the action programming aspect, how you build the deck, how you resolve the deck, how resolving the deck sometimes doesn't work out. sometimes it work out, frequently doesn't work out perfectly, and how you win Colt Express. So I'm Jason again. Thanks for checking out my run through of Colt Express here. I hope you will check it out yourself if you find yourself with the opportunity. And we'll catch you next time.